Utah, though, you want to talk about someone who got scurred this weekend? Whoo, man. Oh, I would be feeling so much better if Kansas State had any form of clutch in their bones. You put up 47 points on Utah. You were leading the whole way. How many teams in this conference, especially teams that I really care about, really needed Utah to get some breathing room? But Kansas State can't do anything when it comes to the clutch moments. With 1 minute left, they couldn't hold them to a field goal, send it to overtime. You allow 51 points. But you also, the one night that Utah decides to rest their entire defense, and they have Salt Lake City Junior High School trotting out on the field to play linebacker for them. That's when you still can't have any form of defense on your 51. They didn't put that many points up against ASU. And that was like one of the biggest blowouts of the entire year, was that game. Oh my goodness. Do you have any pride at all, Kansas State?
I don't know what is more insulting, honestly. To be a defense that is notoriously good and give up 71 rushing yards in a single game when you're supposed to be one of the best defenses in the Big 12, or being the team that put up 471 rushing yards and still lost. How? I mean, I know it's because they only threw for like 100 yards. Okay, good job, Avery Johnson. But and their wide receivers, obviously. But oh my god, dude, that's embarrassing all around. Super fun watch.
That was old school Big 12 action.
Super fun watch. I'll say that. But like,
Chase, I got an answer for you, and I got an answer for you, Connor.
Okay.
You want to know what the answer is?
Go ahead.
This game was stolen from us. We were excited to be in the Big 12, but not today. We are not excited to be in this conference. This game was absolutely stolen from us.
Is that to quote the athletic director?
Yes.
The athletic director.
In reality, if you guys watch that game, I don't. If Kansas State fans feel that way, and I know a lot of Kansas State fans do, I don't blame you. I saw what you saw.
There was a lot of questionable calls at the end of that game. Even some of the spots were terrible. Even you're like, where was that guy looking at? And I just like obviously
it was interesting things.
It was very ASU-esque. Like they're on 4th and like inches to give up like a 60-yard rushing touchdown right there for Kansas State. But like I don't know. Like there was some terrible calls in that one.
Big question coming out of this weekend having to do with that game with this Utah team. They still won and had their best offensive performance of the year, but did this poor defensive performance? Do you think this is going to be enough to reflect, like, is the committee going to have so much bias that they would remove Utah and put in, let's say, a Michigan? If Michigan has the win over Ohio State but still doesn't make the conference championship, how do you think that they would take it that much in a bubble and make that big of a deal about it, that they would limit it?
I think certain credit needs to go to Utah for finding a way to win that game, because that game was over. To find a way to win that game is impressive. But also, I mean, the committee just doesn't penalize for that kind of stuff unless you're a certain team. Because you look at Texas A&M, there was no penalty for almost losing that game. They were down 30-3 at half, and they came back and won. So I don't know. I mean, I think Utah isn't really in the mix. I thought that they might be, unless something crazy happens this weekend. It doesn't matter anyway. They're not in the mix. But
that's not what some Utah fans think in the comments. For some
I know.
reason.
And that's what
I
thought
they're going to play Oregon and beat them.
Yeah, it's over.
I think that the committee is the committee, but I think that game did affect the way the committee is looking at them, because you could have argued if the certain teams won that are supposed to win, and then the other teams lost, I think Utah and BYU could have snuck in a certain way. But because of this and like Utah's defense looking that weak against a Kansas State that's struggled so much, I think that's really hurt their chances. And I think because BYU has that close win against Utah, that it hurts BYU's chances because of that as well, unfortunately.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at this point. There's tons and tons of games that you can look at that weren't penalized or that were looked at favorably. You look at Texas versus Mississippi State, and they weren't penalized for that. You look at Notre Dame versus BC, one of the worst P4 teams. They weren't penalized for that. So, I mean, I can see the committee penalizing it because it's the name Utah, but it would be BS in my opinion because they've overlooked so much other games like that.
One thing though, you said A&M, Texas A&M wasn't punished for the South Carolina loss. How would you have punished them? Move them below Georgia, who has a loss?
I mean, it's true, but they still weren't punished, and I just named like 3 other instances that were the same thing. I mean, that game was as close as that Texas A&M or that Texas Mississippi State game, and Texas was not punished for that. So, I mean, again, it wouldn't surprise me. This committee does things that they say they look at some things and then they don't actually do that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do, but they've already set precedent that they don't care about that.
We will
rest
see.
Your starters. Rest your starters.
We'll see how it all shakes out. We do have one more weekend to get through, one more chance to prove yourself. The biggest thing that is helping the Big 12's chances of having 3 teams in is that the last remaining conference that we haven't talked about is so bad